Nearly 50 years ago, the world of aviation was poised on the edge of transformation. The post-war era had brought rapid advances in technology, a surge of ambition, and a global fascination with the possibilities of flight. Jets were emerging, supersonic travel was being imagined, and the boundaries of what an airplane could do seemed to shift almost daily. And yet, even in this atmosphere of progress, the boldest ideas were often met with skepticism. The 3i Atlas was one of those ideas, a machine so ambitious, so radical, that most people simply could not see it for what it truly was. At first glance, the Atlas seemed almost alien. Its design defied the conventions of the day. Engineers had stretched wings to unusual spans, reshaped fuselages in ways that looked awkward to traditionalists, and mounted engines in configurations that challenged decades of aerodynamic assumptions. To the untrained eye, it appeared impractical, even absurd. Pilots, regulators, and investors alike shook their heads. How could such a machine function? How could it carry enormous payloads without collapsing under its own weight? How could it achieve range and speed without consuming an impossibly large amount of fuel? The skepticism was not entirely irrational. Aviation at that time was rooted in incrementalism. Aircraft design evolved slowly, each generation borrowing lessons from the last. Radical departures were rare, and when they appeared, they were often catastrophic. But the 3i Atlas was different. It was not a gamble in the traditional sense. Every aspect of its design had been calculated, tested on paper, simulated in wind tunnels, and scrutinized by engineers who refused to settle for compromise. It was audacious, yes, but not careless. The plane's ambition extended beyond mere size or performance. Its creators imagined a world in which a single aircraft could perform multiple roles. Cargo, passengers, military transport, and long-distance travel could all be accommodated by the same design. This was revolutionary because it challenged the entrenched economic logic of the aviation industry. Airlines and governments preferred specialization, planes designed for a single function that could be optimized for cost and efficiency. The Atlas proposed something different: adaptability and scalability, a platform that could evolve with changing needs. When the Atlas first flew, it stunned observers. The skeptics were proven wrong in ways that could not be ignored. The aircraft lifted enormous weights with surprising ease. Its engines, initially regarded as underpowered, performed flawlessly under extreme loads. Its wings and fuselage, criticized as unconventional, proved aerodynamically sound and remarkably efficient. In every measurable metric — payload, range, fuel efficiency, stability — the Atlas surpassed the expectations of its harshest critics. And yet, even in the face of undeniable performance, doubt lingered. Doubt is often rooted in more than technical reasoning. Humans are conditioned to trust the familiar. When confronted with something new, especially something that challenges deeply held assumptions, the instinct is often rejection. For the Atlas, this meant that success in flight was not enough. Pilots trained on traditional aircraft had to adapt to unusual handling characteristics. Maintenance crews had to learn systems unlike any they had worked with before. Airlines and governments hesitated to adopt it fully because the machine did not look, feel, or behave like the airplanes they knew. The Atlas had to fight not just gravity, but prejudice. The psychological struggle surrounding the Atlas mirrors a recurring theme in technological history: the clash between vision and perception. True innovation often arrives before the world is ready for it. The first automobiles were noisy, dangerous, and scorned by horse and buggy enthusiasts. Early computers were massive, expensive, and dismissed as toys by many professionals. The 3i Atlas simply carried that pattern into aviation. It was a machine ahead of its time, whose potential could only be understood retrospectively. In addition to psychological barriers, economic and political realities constrained the Atlas. Building, maintaining, and operating such a large and advanced aircraft required resources that few organizations were willing to commit. Airlines, focused on quarterly profits and predictable costs, hesitated to gamble on a platform whose benefits would only materialize over decades. Governments, meanwhile, were wary of funding projects that appeared speculative, especially in an era defined by Cold War priorities and short-term strategic calculations. Innovation, the Atlas demonstrated, can be as much a victim of circumstance as of engineering challenges. Despite these obstacles, the Atlas quietly influenced the trajectory of aviation. Its innovations, advanced wing designs, modular fuselage concepts, high-efficiency engines, were studied, adapted, and integrated into later aircraft designs. Even when the plane itself did not achieve widespread operational adoption, its legacy persisted in the principles it championed: adaptability, efficiency, and ambition beyond conventional limits. Engineers who had once dismissed it began to recognize its lessons, and those lessons shaped the development of cargo aircraft, long-range transports, and even early concepts for commercial jumbo jets. The human stories associated with the Atlas are equally compelling. Pilots who first climbed into its cockpit spoke of the aircraft with awe and caution. They described handling characteristics unlike anything they had experienced, a sense of responsiveness combined with sheer power. Crews responsible for maintenance often marveled at the precision of its systems, components that were intricate yet reliable, complex yet robust. For the few who understood it, the Atlas was not just a machine, but a revelation, proof that engineering could achieve harmony between scale, power, and control. Yet the broader world remained skeptical. For decades, the Atlas was remembered more as an oddity than as a marvel. Aviation historians cited it in footnotes, and its true significance was largely hidden behind assumptions about practicality and economic viability. Popular memory favored aircraft that were successful in mass adoption or cultural visibility. The Atlas, despite its technical brilliance, was too radical, too unusual, too ahead of its time to fit the narrative. And therein lies the greatest tragedy. The plane was not wrong. The world was. Today, the 3i Atlas stands as a symbol of misjudged ambition. It is a testament to the dangers of assuming that conventional wisdom is infallible. It reminds us that innovation often requires courage, not just from engineers, but from society itself. That a truly revolutionary idea may struggle not because it cannot work, but because people cannot yet imagine that it should. And it challenges us to reconsider how we evaluate progress, by immediate adoption or by long-term potential. In the end, the Atlas teaches a lesson far broader than aviation. It reveals the fragility of perception, the persistence of skepticism, and the slow, often painful path that innovation must traverse to be recognized. It reminds us that those who are bold enough to imagine beyond convention may be dismissed, misunderstood, or ignored, but they also lay the groundwork for breakthroughs that will define the future. The 3i Atlas, when viewed in retrospect, is not merely an aircraft. It is a story of human ambition, resistance, and eventual understanding. It is proof that being wrong about the future is easy, and being right about it often takes decades. It is a reminder that vision cannot always wait for validation, and that those who see further than their peers may live in a world that cannot yet see them. And for those willing to study it closely, The Atlas offers one final lesson. The extraordinary often arrives in forms the ordinary cannot recognize. True innovation may be misunderstood, dismissed, and delayed, but its impact, once realized, can reshape the very framework of possibility.